All right, we're going to do more of the power rule with negative exponents. This time we have a quotient in parentheses. So we have here parentheses, z to the negative 5 over 2z to the negative 1, close parentheses, cubed. So we can start with doing the quotient rule of what's in parentheses between our factors that have z as a base, z to the negative 1 and z to the negative 5 and z to the negative 1. So we would do z to the negative 5 minus the negative 1. And that's going to give us z, remember that's the same as saying negative 5 plus 1. So that gives us z to the negative 4. All right, so our fraction essentially becomes z to the negative 4 over 2 cubed. All right, so now we want to cube our numerator and our denominator. Essentially, it would be saying z to the negative 4 cubed over 2 to the first power cubed. Remember, assume 2 is to the first power. All right, so whenever you have a power to a power, you multiply your exponents. So we're going to multiply negative 4 times the 3, right? Negative 4 times the 3, and we get negative 12. So that's z to the negative 12. And then 2 to the first power to the third power, 1 times 3. So we have 2 cubed. All right, so we're going to do 2 steps at one time. First, z to the negative 12 has to go across the fraction bar so we can write our answer without a negative exponent. And so that's going to give us z to the 12th. 1 is in the numerator still. And then 2 cubed. 2 cubed, remember that's the same as saying 2 times 2 times 2. 2 cubed is 8. And that's still in the denominator. And there's our final answer, 1 over 8z to the 12th. Now let's try this again. This time, I am going to choose to take the reciprocal of z to the negative 5. Now I can also take the reciprocal of z to the negative 1, but I'm going to try to be clever here. Watch what happens. If I take the reciprocal of only z to the negative 5, in the denominator I have 2 and then z to the negative 1 times z to the positive 5. And then in the numerator, we know we still have a 1, right? So that's what I'm left with. Now, z to the negative 1 times z to the 5th, remember you add the exponent, so that would be z to the negative 1 plus 5, and that equals z to the 4th power. So essentially, I'm left with 1 over 2z to the 4th, and then that's in parentheses. Outside of parentheses, we're cubed. So now I have a simplified fraction in parentheses. I see here I can cube my numerator and my denominator. So it's like me doing 1 cubed over the denominator also has to be cubed. Well, 1 cubed is really easy. That's just 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, 2 cubed, we've already seen what that is, right? That's 8. And then z to the 4th cubed, we've already seen what that is. That's z to the 12th. So we have 1 over 8z to the 12th. Okay, slightly different way of going about it, but you should get the same answer. So here we have another example. We have in parentheses 3m to the 5th over 4m to the negative 3, close parentheses, squared. Go ahead and try it. Try it both ways if you want to, and then we'll do it together. All right, hopefully you paused the video and you've tried this. So let's go ahead and try it together. So I'm going to start with just using the quotient rule. So in parentheses, I have factors that have a base of m, m to the 5th, m to the negative 3. So if we use the quotient rule, m to the 5th minus negative 3 is the same as saying m to the 5th plus 3, and that's m to the 8th power. So that gives us an internal fraction of 3m to the 8th over 4. Close parentheses, squared. Notice how my internal fraction is now simplified, and now I'm just going to square my numerator and square the denominator. So if we square the numerator, you have to square the 3. You have to square m to the 8th, which gives you 9m to the 16th. In the denominator, you're going to square the 4, and that gives you 16, and that is your answer. Okay, now what if instead of doing the quotient rule in the beginning, instead you see m to the negative 3 and you take that across the fraction bar. So essentially that's going to give you m to the 5th times m cubed. In fact, let me just write the new problem. So you have parentheses 3m to the 5th m times m cubed over 4. Close parentheses, squared. Okay, so that is if you choose to take the reciprocal of m to the negative 3 first. So now you have a product of m to the 5th times m cubed, which we know when we have a product, m to the 5th times m cubed, we add the exponent, so m to the 5th plus 3, which gives us m to the 8th. And we can see here essentially that gives us what we had before. Okay, you can see that matches up. All right, and so if you continue on, you're going to get the same answer. So we don't need to do all of that work again. So you have to just choose what's your preference.